Hi, this is Ben Rogerson from MusicRadar.com, and I'm here with Ralph from Digitech because he's going to show us their new iPB-10 pedalboard, which is quite revolutionary in the sense that it can actually contain an iPad. So Ralph, let's find out a little bit more about it, please.
Basically, the iPad is just a control for the housing for the effect unit we have here. It's a free assignable pedal board. That means you can assign whatever pedal you want to have on that pedal board. You have the selection out of, I believe, more than 50 pedals or more than 80 pedals even, and you can freely assign the signal flow. That means you can have the reverb before the distortion, you can have a delay after the distortion, you can decide where your external stomp loop is, where your real amp comes in. You can use our internal amps or an external amp. You have literally free hand with anything you want to do to it.
Okay, so all the processing is actually going on inside the pedalboard itself, and the iPad is serving as a controller, is that right?
Correct. All the processing is done by two audio DNA chips which are sitting in the iPB-10. So okay, the basic structure of the pedal is pretty simple as you know it from our RP series. So you can do everything live what you need to do. You can tap tempo, the delay, you can add the stomp box, the external stomp loop, which is up here. And you can bring in the external amp, which is the bottom here, and you can swap the banks up, down, and here. And these are your 5 presets per bank. And on each preset, if I look at preset number 1, you have 5 different effects, right? So if you want to change anything on each effect, instead of going inside a matrix or going inside some guts of the machine, you just touch the bottom here, and you move it up and down, and you change. For example, I want a longer reverb than that. I just raise the parameter, and we got more reverb. You want to switch it on and off, you can do it with the foot, or you can do it with your hand, on and off. That's basically how you change effects. You can change the effect chain if you go on that edit button here, and you get rid of the reverb here. This one, you just touch it, delete it, and it's gone. If you want to reassign any of those effects foot switches, you just drag one of those effects you see here on that foot switch assign bottom here, and now that equalizer is on foot switch number E. So everything you do, you just do it by the swipe of your fingers. In addition, what I just said, you have a little symbol of a stomp loop here. Before the stomp loop, you could have assigned pre or post distortion. Right now, you can assign it to whatever place you want it. It could be after the, as you see, after the wah pedal. It could be after the chorus pedal, and you just need to track that little stomp loop a stomp loop symbol to the place you want it. Same goes for the amp loop, external amp loop. You can always use our own amp loop, our own amp models. As you see, this is now my rectifier amp model here. If I touch that, I have the selection of the amps. I can exchange it against a different amp, right? So push done, and now the different amp is in there. And this is a little amp model, and this little amp symbol, that little amp symbol is responsible for the amp which you actually have, the real amp. I'm not talking amp models. And if you move that up and down, you can have it at a different position. And this is fantastic. That means you can exchange the pedal you like, the order of the pedal, and the order of the stomp loop, and the order of the amp models, basically. Basically, you can assign everything. Freely assign an open structure, I would call it.
Okay, let's talk about pricing and availability then. So when can we buy this and how much is it going to cost?
I think it should hit the stores in about 14 days of time. 10 to 14 days it should be in the stores, and the retail price, I've been told, is $4.99, so a pound less than 500.
And what about the app? Is that available to download now?
The app is available to download now and to test now. It's IPP Nexus. If you in the search parameters, if you type in Digitech Nexus, you should be able to find it right now.
Just to confirm, you can make settings on the app without actually being hooked up to the board, and the board will function without the app.
Actually, you can use both separately. You don't need to have the iPad installed to use the IPP, but you can design the pedal board while you sit on the train going to the gig, and you can assign a nice pedal board, and then you fly in the IPP or the iPad in the unit, and then you can adapt that freshly created pedal board into your sound, into your gig. That's pretty cool, because you can use the one without the other, but both together, of course, is some sort of a synergy going on.
Okay, thank you very much, Ralph. That's the Digitech iPB-10.